What do you think? It's ridiculous. This is a Tonka Winnebago Indian. It's a toy from the 1970s. It's made of pressed steel. It weighs a lot. I mean, that weighs a lot. And happy Christmas, by the way. Merry Christmas. What did you get for Christmas? Rachel actually got me some hiking boots. I needed some hiking boots. I love hiking. Didn't have any good boots, so that was great. Yeah, this thing. We went to my parents' house on Boxing Day. Mum and Dad were there, obviously. The dogs, because Jackie and Matthew also live there at the moment because they've sold their house. They're looking for somewhere else. And they have their dog. And everybody shipped together, family. Jackie, Matthew, Mum, Dad. And this is what I ended up opening on Christmas. I'll explain something first of all. I never, ever expected to ever actually find one or get one. Now, I'll explain why. These are relatively common in the US. If you're watching from America, I'm about to educate something you might not know. These are relatively common in the US, but still not super common. They are hen's teeth in Europe and the UK. They don't exist. They just don't exist. They almost didn't sell. And the reason they almost didn't sell is RVs don't exist in the UK or Europe. RVs in America make perfect sense because you've got those entire counties or states of really long straight roads with big open expanses of land, huge landscapes with just wilderness. So it makes sense to bring a home with you if you're going on traveling, because it can take you several days to cross an expanse of land. Bring your home with you. They don't exist in the UK at all. You get motorhomes, camper vans, but those are essentially just little caravans with engines that don't require a car to tow them. RVs don't exist. I don't think I've ever seen one. In Europe, it's the same. You don't have to go that far before the next city's there. You don't even have to go that far. You could drive a whole day and cross our country and you're in the next country. You could get across France into Germany. You could, whatever. The concept of an RV doesn't really work. It may work in Australia. It doesn't really work in Europe, and it certainly doesn't work in the UK. So they don't exist. As a result, people, little boys and girls, especially little boys, let's be honest, don't play with RV toys. They play with supercar toys. They play with rally car toys. They play with Formula 1 car toys. They play with everyday car toys. They play with trucks. They play with vans. They see these things in the world. They don't see these. I had no idea an RV existed until I had been alive on this planet for several years. I probably hadn't even heard of the concept until I was probably in double digits of age, I would imagine. So they don't exist. The toys don't exist. They don't exist. These don't appear on eBay very often at all as a result. And when they do, yeah, they're very expensive. I don't actually know how much they paid. But I do know that the seller selling this was a very friendly woman, and she was very happy to make a deal because her son initially wanted to convert this to RC and for whatever reason couldn't or didn't, and loved the idea that they were buying it for me to do the same thing. So this will be converted to RC, which is obviously what you expected. It's fantastic. It's so 70s, so heavy, really well built. I mean, obviously the panel gaps aren't particularly good, and a lot of it's not that accurate. But I mean, this is a toy. This is a proper toy. None of your electronic, lightweight, plastic, disposable pish. This is a toy. This is proper. How on earth did this come about? Well, it was a passing comment. I'd never mentioned one of these before. I'd seen them. There's somebody on the forum, Walk by the Sea, I think his name is, his username on it is on the MSUK forum. He converted one of these and put an HPI Venture chassis under it. I'll explain what my RC plans are in a moment, but going back to where this came from. So I had the idea, and I was looking on eBay a little bit, but I couldn't find any that wasn't, in America, you pay $200-300 for one, plus another $150-200 to get it shipped here. then you might also get struck with import taxes or whatever. So it really wasn't that viable because the weight of the damn thing and the size of it. So I really need to find one in Europe, or specifically and hopefully the UK. This was from Wales, so they found someone seller in Wales trying to sell, so that wasn't too bad. But I never mentioned that to anybody in my family or any of my friends. It was an idea in my head. I would look around on eBay, look around online, look on Gumtree, look on, charity shops. But we were watching, I was at my parents' not that long ago, a few months or whatever, and we were watching one of these restore programs, where they take cars off scrap heap. Americans are very good at this sort of thing, taking old muscle cars that are down to the bones of their lives and bringing them back. I think it's that Rust Valley Restorers one. Is that the name? With a guy called Mike who never ever baths or showers, long ginger hair. I think it's ginger, maybe blonde, maybe it's just blonde and filthy, but dreadlocks, and he's like a total dude, and he does all. Anyway, there was somebody on that program whose office was full of junk, as in old car bits and starter motors and alternators and all sorts. And in the background, panning shot, I saw one of them and I went, oh, stop. Jackie at the controls, stop. Rewind that a second. Oh, look, there's one of those Tonka Winnebagos. I really want one of them. I'd love to convert one to RC. And she was like, what's that? And I was a toy from the 70s, and you don't really get them here for the reasons I explained. Oh, I'd love to get one and convert it. That was all this conversation had. We never said anything more about it. And then on Boxing Day, for opening my Christmas present, because that's the first day I got to see my family on Boxing Day, this, and I was pretty surprised, I'll give you that.
Do you want to hurry up and open it?
Wow, your nose away from that pen.
Make sure Rachel's back before you...
Remember to always cut towards your penis.
Call.
Babe!
Is that number 2 or 3 or 4? I thought that was 3, to be honest.
No way, you did not find one of those.
We did.
You did not find
Jackie
one
did.
of those. Where on earth did you find one of these?
Quite good neck as well, huh?
Where did you get that? These are like hen's teeth in this country and a fortune in America. Where on earth did you get that?
Yeah, that one came from Wales, the only one in the UK.
There was a lot of
But I
negotiation
waited
and
for a
lot of
while and
looking.
one popped up in the UK.
We're all clubbed together.
No
like.
way. Let me show you its party piece. I'll try and see if I can do this without shaking the camera all over the place. Right. It did originally come with an awning, I think. It did have an awning, but this one doesn't. It is actually a toy to play with. So you can lift the roof off like that, but it also pivots, I think. Oh, it's that way. It's that way, right, okay. And then you've got, let's see if I can do this. One-handed, without spilling my coffee. And then that, all the way here. And there. Well, roughly there. There-ish. So that's, obviously you get the awning. So we have the interior of it. It's all plastic. It does have moving cupboards and stuff. But yeah. I am planning on completely redoing the interior. Not cutting any of it out or anything, but painting parts and reupholstering it to make it 70s as hell. Like proper. I don't know what 70s. I was never alive in the 70s. I was born in 87. But what was 70s? Floral? Leopard print? Tiger print? I don't know. Brown? Well, obviously. But, beige maybe? Just 70s. And this should be Bakelite or something, shouldn't it? I would like some input. I would very much appreciate some input from those of you who are in the know. It smells a bit. Not the 70s, the truck. And that needs a little bit. I mean, it needs a little bit of TLC, but you can take this entire interior out, which I will do. Close this up. Close this up. Would you close? Oh, wait, the pole was doing the thing. Close, there we go. Ha! Effortless. Ha! Effortless. Plastic wheels and tyres underneath. It's literally spot welded. You got these A-frames here, spot welded. They don't need to be drilled out. And then that entire thing is flat-ish. So, and there's a bit of space. So I will be converting mine into a trail truck, the world's heaviest trail truck. I've seen some great builds online. There's speed run ones when they're absolutely slammed and stuff look so cool. But the trail truck thing, I think, is what I'd be more interested in. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. A normal 1/10 scale, 12.3 inch or 313mm wheelbase truck is almost a long enough wheelbase, but not quite. I think this is like 10mm longer or something. 323, 325, 330, something, you know, it's not too far away. So those SX10s, GMID GSO2s, HPI Ventures, all that sort of stuff is spot on in terms of length. That's no problem. The issue is, first of all, track width. This is narrower. This is definitely narrower than an SX10, for example. And what you see people doing is adding flared arches because the axles are too wide. I don't want to do that. I don't want flared arches. I want to keep it looking exactly as it is. I think it looks fantastic. I'll maybe add some stickers a little bit. Just sort of, you know, those campervan holiday, RV holiday slash stickers. I've been to this place and we went, you know, you see them plastered all over the place. Maybe something like that, I don't know. But I don't want flared arches. I don't want to add anything to the bodywork in that regard. So we'll see what happens. I don't want the wheels sticking out too far. They don't stick out too far. I mean, they're only a few mil. So we'll see. Yeah, might need to find a truck with narrower axles. Pedro, who's a friend of mine, which I haven't seen for a long time actually, who does Tonka RC, he did one of these a few years ago, and I only noticed this yesterday. And he used an FTX Outback chassis, which is narrow enough, but the Outback chassis is very plastic, very lightweight, very weak. This is super heavy, so I want something a bit more robust and serious underneath, because this is going to be so top heavy. You're going to have to counter it by having a nice beefy chassis. The HPI Venture is spot on. For example, the guy on the forum, Walk by the Sea, he has built his on a Venture. The problem with the Venture is the front mounted motor is so high you have to cut the floor pan out in order to clear the motor and servo mounts, in order to lower it to the point I would like it. So his works perfectly well, but it's a little bit jacked up. I want to try and keep roughly this ground clearance. Roughly, I mean maybe a little bit higher, but his is a little bit too high for my taste, and it doesn't sit down on the skids. The side plates, there's a little gap, so I don't think I'll do a Venture. Plus he's done a Venture already, and I'm a member of that forum, he's a member of that forum. I don't want to do a 1-1 copy of his. The SX10 is the same problem. The central gearbox is really big and really tall, so I'll need to find the right chassis for it, definitely. I don't know what's the best way of doing it. I've seen a lovely sitting one like Pedro, not Pedro himself, but Pedro's truck, using an ECX Barrage, because that makes sense. It's the same truck as the FTX Outback. Again, it has the same problems. It's very lightweight, very flimsy, will not counter this weight much whatsoever. I was playing with leaf spring idea. Leaf springs would be super simple to just bolt to the underneath. But I think I'm going to go 4-link rear, 3-link front. I think I'm going to do proper, so give it as much articulation as possible. The leaf springs would be beneficial in controlling the mass, but then you need to get the right stiffness of leaf springs from the off and get it sitting right from the off. Whereas, or you could unbolt them and stuff, but you'd be a lot mucking about. Whereas with oil-filled shocks, you can just play around with spring rates. Okay, let's put some heavier oil in it, let's put some stiffer springs on it. We can do that sort of thing. So that's probably where I'll go, but I don't know what chassis yet. I really don't know. I think Charisma's discontinued Ford F-150. The 324mm wheelbase would have been spot on for the wheelbase side of things. I don't know what the axle widths are like. We'll have to wait and see. I'll have to just figure something out. Anyway, in the meantime, I'll do some thinking. I hope you like what you see. Hope you're interested in where this is going. I don't quite know where it's going, but it's going somewhere, and we will see this at some point in the coming year. So, hope you're looking forward to that. In the meantime, I do have a trail truck to show you before we finish this video. What do you think of that. I love it. Love it. It's my new GS02F, G-Made GS02F, replacing my favourite truck, my G-Made GS02. So this is the Komodo double cab GS02F, replacing my Komodo double cab GS02, which was my favourite truck. But I wanted to support G-Made by buying the new version because I think G-Made have been fantastic the last few years. The colour is so nice. Again, the camera will never show it off, but oh my goodness, that colour. That is Tamiya translucent red, two cans of, followed by Tamiya chrome silver, high aluminium gloss or whatever it's called, PS48 I think, 2 of them, and then Tamiya PS5 black, 2 of, so it's 6 cans of paint plus the smoke windows, which is Fast Tracks paint, and that's the result. It needs to clean because it needs to be a dust magnet, but oh my goodness, that truck, I love it. It weighs a fair hefty amount, heavier than the old one. I am using relatively heavy, I didn't want to use relatively heavy, but I'm using relatively heavy G-Made beadlock wheels, which I really like, to be honest. The roof racks added a little bit of weight with my little, I still need to paint the shovel, but there's a few scaled items in there. Spot lamp kit. I haven't done the wiring yet. It's wired up, but the wires are hanging all over the place. I like to use shoe goo to stick the wires to the underneath the shell and then have them running up here in the pillars, door pillars, up to the roof, and then have it all timed up in the roof, so I can just unplug one cable and it's hanging from the roof rather than having it with the potential of snagging anywhere in the chassis or any of the components. I will just quickly show you. Oh, yes. Nope, this truck's going to look so good out in the rocks until I roll it. I do think the GS02F chassis is heavier than the GS02 off the bat. It's not just the fact that I've got SSD knuckle weights, brass knuckle weights on here, and I had them on the other truck. I've just moved them over. It does have all the roof gubbins, but I think the 2-speed gearbox in the GS02F is heavier. I also have stainless steel lower links and aluminium upper links to add weight low down, which I didn't have in the other one. Steel drive chassis, which I did have, but it is heavier than the other one. It might even be heavier than the Venture, you just see. But I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I won't bang on too much about this truck because this was supposed to be only about the Winnebago, but it's so nice. It's so nice. Anyway, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.